Captain America becomes U.S. agent, Falcon becomes Captain America, and Sharon gets revealed as the power broker. All this and more on this week's episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Michael and this is Dweeb Culture. As always, with me here, I have my other fellow dweebs, Mitch.
Hey guys.
And I have Cole.
Hey, what's going on?
I will say I nailed that introduction this time. It only took me 3 times, but yes, that introduction was nailed and I'm very happy with the way it came out.
Masterful.
All right, guys, so this is the season finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Is it the series finale? We don't know, right? I mean, we don't know if there's going to be another season, but at the very least, it's the season finale.
Yeah, it would seem from what I've read online and post the release now that at the very least we're getting more movies. Captain America 4 will star Falcon. Whether or not they come back to a limited season run like this, I hope so. I think that Disney Plus saw a lot of success with The Mandalorian, and we've seen already that's expanded into 8 shows. I mean, like a crazy amount of additional television shows. And this was Disney Plus's most streamed television program ever. So realistically, whether or not we get specifically Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Captain America and the Winter Soldier as it kind of wrapped up at the end, we're definitely getting more Marvel. Without a doubt, I only see Marvel expanding now with the success of this particular series and WandaVision before it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So this season finale, we're going to go over the main beats. Everyone's already seen it. Everyone already knows what's happened. So we're just going to hit the main beats. This season finale answered a lot of questions. And we made a lot of predictions throughout this series. And some of them were correct. Some of them were incorrect. But this episode definitely revealed pretty much everything. I don't know that there was a storyline left undone. Can you guys think of one? A storyline that was not revisited in this. I mean, Bucky walks off at the end, right? Zemo is in jail, so his storyline, at least for the series, is complete, or at least the season is complete. Bucky kind of started off the way he ended, basically the way he started off, right? He's kind of on his own again, and left, right?
He's a lone wolf once again.
Well,
Wink, wink.
yeah, I mean, Bucky at the end is separate, but to me at least, it looked like we're going to see that friendship between him and now Captain America further. I don't know that he's going to get a prolonged solo adventure in a different show. I think we may just see him in the next Captain America movie.
Yeah. In any case,
totally changed Bucky.
Yeah.
Or his
he had a big story arc. He had a big story arc that we'll definitely get into and talk about.
Yeah.
But the big reveal at the beginning of the episode was the fact that we now have a new Captain America, and more specifically his suit, which is kind of a hybrid between the Falcon and Captain America. Now, Mitch, you alluded to this in prior episodes based on the comics. Did the new suit meet your expectations?
The new suit exceeded my expectations greatly. I know some people are a fan of it, but the comic suit, I'm just not a fan of. And to be fair, this is more or less the same as the comic suit. There's only slight variations. There's a little bit more white, and then it's actualized in real life, not drawn on paper. Drawn on paper, I didn't like it. I didn't mention this to you guys, but there were some like New York toy convention leaks of images of these action figures that were going to be tied into this show in particular. So I saw the action figure for Captain America Falcon character before this too, and I didn't like that. But seeing it actually live action, I liked it. I thought it pulled off well. I like that the wings almost completely conceal when he's not having them out, because the suit by itself without the wings is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Him in the suit without the wings is very cool. Not that it's not cool with the wings, but it looks like a real Captain America suit. Whereas the Falcon suit beforehand was very much characterized by the wings. In fact, I don't even know that I could describe it to you, minus the fact of large metal wings. It was, I think, red and black, and I literally don't remember anything else about it. Nothing else stood out aside from the wings. This suit, in particular, has a lot of different features that really stand out and pop, and the shield coming over the wings on the back is really cool. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like an homage to basically the way Captain America uses his shield and kind of just swips it over the back, but now it's going over the Falcon's wings, so he can use both at the same time.
My only question about the costume is that, did the Wakandians tech find out a way to fight off dirt? Because this thing is really white.
Oh,
yeah. By the end of the episode, he should have been littered with dirt.
Oh yeah, you have to think that they've found a way to repel dirt. I mean, because all dirt has a little bit of metal in it, right? Like at least a little bit of iron or something in it, so maybe just repels metal.
Hey, think about cars, dude. What car shows dirt? What color car shows dirt the worst? Black. Mm-hmm. What color car shows dirt the least? White. There you go. You're thinking like a white T-shirt. This is a presumably vibranium suit. Yeah. So there you go.
It's going to be slick and polished, and there's no dirt on that bad boy.
Question answered.
There you go. So the episode starts off with a huge long sequence. About 20 minutes of the episode is in this kind of fight scene in the in New York, in the location that apparently the Flag Smashers have just completely infiltrated. I mean, they are everywhere inside, fighting everybody. They're in the major red room with no security guards there, apparently, because there's literally the head senates and whatnot. They're just running around like little mice, and then there's one Flag Smasher just following them, kind of going like like there's no security, there's no nothing. Like what happened to everything?
Well, I think the Flag Smashers were the security. And remember, bro, one world, one people. There's a lot more Flag Smashers than you know.
That's right. Carly kind of showed that in the last episode with the app thing.
Mm-hmm.
Showing all those people in the park turned her.
So the guy that threw the grenade or the gas, the mustard gas, or the tear gas, or whatever it is inside, he was just dressed regular. It looked like he just came off the street, walked up, went to the secret room, had a grenade the whole time, threw it underneath, and then he pieced and dipped and walked out.
Those darn new temps. They'll get you.
That's true. I guess the economic depression can't afford security service or Secret Service or anything going on at those places, because they were literally everywhere.
Well, again, like Mitch said, they were the security. They planted themselves there.
Yeah. So the top secret UN vote, or the vote for the GRC, is just going to hire a bunch of new security guards, place them everywhere, and not have anybody else there.
Hey, this is the same universe where everybody was magically Hydra one day too, so
that's true.
You kind of just got to suspend the disbelief.
All right, fair enough. So we do get that whole fight scene. A lot of stuff happens in there, and at some point, Carly calls Bucky and speaks to Bucky over the phone. If you guys remember that.
Yep.
And they have an interesting conversation. And essentially what I gathered, that was Carly just essentially trying to stall Bucky and trying to not protect, again, the senators from getting inside this armored car to drive away.
Yeah, that was basically the point of that.
She's worried about them becoming involved in the plan. I think that's pretty clear from the prior episodes too. But even in the episode, if you'll remember, what she's talking to Bucky about is she's trying to make a pleading case to him on how he should be on her side.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a stalling technique.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have a super cool, really cool fight scene with the new Captain. So I really wanted to call him Captain Falcon just there, and Mitch stopped me before the episode because in one of the mess ups I did say Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that's not it either. Did you guys hear? I made a note of this. I went back and replayed it. When he appeared as the new Captain America with the Falcon wings out and everything, somebody did yell, "Are you Captain Falcon?"
No, I had heard. I don't know if I heard that, but I did hear the scene where the one older guy says, "That's the Black Falcon."
Yeah,
and then he gets corrected.
Yeah.
To no, man, that's Captain America.
No, yeah. So, but it was, So there was that dedicated scene, but then I think later on when he appeared, it was just a random voice from the crowd. A random voice from the crowd says, "Oh, Falcon." And then somebody behind him says, "Captain Falcon?" And then
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, I wish I would have made a note at the timing of it because I thought that was hilarious that they called him Captain Falcon because it just reminds me of Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's kind of hard to not call a guy with wings still not a bird name.
Yeah. I think Captain Falcon is a good name for him. I actually really like that name, but I'm sure Nintendo has rights over.
Yeah, I was gonna say Captain Falcon's already a character. Now something I have to imagine that those sorts of things do get included more in this series because, we have 20-something movies of him being Falcon. It's going to be a little bit for us to just get used to the terminology of Captain America. And don't get me wrong, I actually think that I was really happy with how they portrayed his transition from Falcon into Captain America. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's going to definitely take some getting used to. Yeah. Not calling him Falcon, now calling him Captain America, especially when, like, just 3 weeks ago, Captain America was a different color or a different character who is now U.S. agent. So now we had to say, okay, Captain America. I'm sorry, not Captain America, U.S. Agent Captain America, but when he was Captain America. And now we're talking about Falcon, but not Falcon, Captain America Falcon.
That's right.
And then we're going to make references back to Captain America, who, of course, we mean Steve Rogers. Yeah, there's going to definitely be some confusion, and Marvel's been pretty good about being self-aware, so I imagine we're going to see more of that in future movies.
Yeah, that would be a fun that'd be a fun spin-off between, Bucky calling Falcon Captain America, or Bucky calling the new Captain America Falcon Captain America Falcon, and then Captain America correcting him, and then I imagine there's gonna be a lot of wordplay and a lot of funniness, especially if Tony Stark died. Oh, spoiler alert for Endgame in case you guys haven't seen Endgame yet. So we did see Captain America. I really want to call him Captain Falcon, so you guys know who I'm talking about. But we did see him fly and go through a helicopter. Sam. Okay, sure. We just call him Sam. We did see Sam fly and go through a helicopter, so that was a really cool scene. Luckily, somebody inside the copter already knew how to fly one of those, which is very convenient and nice. Yeah, and he has not only that, but he has a little his red wing can go and do facial identity and quickly determine if somebody has already had helicopter training. Which is extremely important to a very compact database inside of a little Red Wing Falcon.
Indeed.
But we also did see that, Cole, you were correct. The shield that John Walker was making at the end of the last episode was in fact not vibranium, because we saw it dented and completely broken. And the whole... See, I was thinking he was getting assistance from Val and all that to make that shield, but anyway, he could have made that shield anywhere with nobody's help. So I thought that was really odd, which he did apparently. So I thought that was really odd. Maybe they just gave him the color scheme for it, because maybe those are hard colors to come by. I'm not sure. But so there was a dented shield, and so no, he did not have a vibranium shield. So good call on that, Cole.
Yeah, well, so I think to most viewers it was fairly obvious, except for you.
I thought it was vibranium. I thought that's what the whole Val scene. I didn't know that they would put stuff in there just to not have it connect with anything.
The rustic scene of him making it himself. I mean, it's pretty.
You know what though? In all fairness, right? He didn't want to part with the Captain America image. It just meant so much to him. and he did really get a redemption here, which I'm really glad about. Obviously, he gets a redemption in the comics too. I mean, actually, if we look at it, this series follows pretty truly to the comics that it draws inspiration from. But, um, he's a good character. We start off liking him. The first few episodes, we all talk about how, ooh, I don't know. It sounds like just from the tone of the show, they're going to make him a villain, but they've not really given us a reason to dislike him.
Yeah.
And all throughout the series, the only thing that they did that gave us a reason to dislike him was that in a moment of rage when his best friend is killed by a terrorist, he kills one of them rather than capturing him. Right? And yes, of course, that's a war crime. I'm not saying that's like nothing. But if you look at the total story arc, they didn't send him so far down a path that he couldn't recover from. And he gets an earned redemption in this series at the end here when he makes the decision of doing the right thing versus following a path of vengeance. I like that because I'll be honest with you, I was kind of afraid that they were going to kill him off or solidify him as a villain because he had killed that character earlier in the show. We talked about this before, but Marvel and Disney has a real problem with straying from tried and true story beats. And as we all know, as fans of cinema in general, when a character commits an unforgivable sin like the murder of an innocent, they will not be redeemed by any other means than death, which we see with Carly. When she kills innocents, the path was already set. She was not going to survive this show. And we've seen it in so many shows before this. We saw it, like I had brought up earlier, most recently in the most recent Star Wars film, which is a Disney product. But if you remember back to our conversation from the episode where Captain America breaks and kills that terrorist, there were specific scenes in that episode that pointed out some things about that one particular dude that died that were not so good, being that he was the devil on Carly's shoulder telling her, yes, use more terrorist tactics. That's what we need to do. And it went far enough to where, okay, he did kill somebody when he shouldn't have, but he didn't kill an innocent person. He killed a guilty person. I wonder if that's something they could save him from. And they did choose to save him from that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think Disney's overall goal with this first Captain America,
John Walker.
John Walker, was to introduce a third hero and kind of give the viewers, all right, who's your favorite hero in this series? Sam, Bucky, or John Walker. And to follow each of these heroes and their own path and kind of make up your own mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did a pretty good job with John Walker. He seemed likable again at the toward the end of the last episode. He didn't really put up a fuss when Sam was revealed as Captain America. You didn't really hear a fuss from him at all, being like, no, I'm the true Captain America. He was like, okay, I'll step out of the way. I'm the U.S. agent now,
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, nobody put up a fuss. We kind of asked that question in the last episode, like, man, are they going to make this an issue about him being Captain America? Nope. Everyone's happy with him being Captain America, which makes sense. If you look at it, he's an Avenger. He's already a government asset. He's already a good dude that everybody likes. Yeah, of course there was nobody that was going to put up a fuss. It's just, some tonal things in earlier episodes made it seem like it might be an issue. I'm really glad with how they went with it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad. And I think, given that world, I think that's exactly how it would have gone. Mm-hmm. I think they definitely tried to foreshadow that it was going to be an issue accepting Falcon as Captain America, especially with the tarnished name of Captain America and everything else that was going on. I think luckily they paid attention more to the storyline and less to that type of thing. And they kind of, in that world, it makes sense. Everyone would accept him as Captain America. He assumes the mantle, and I like that. I love that he's Captain America, and I love that they didn't focus a lot of the episode on that type of struggle. Because they already dedicated a few episodes to that type of thing, so I'm glad that they went to closure. They did closure in the episode. They made that a priority rather than more explanation of that type of struggle.
Yeah, no, it was a smooth transition. It was believable. I liked it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, we'll keep going then, and we do see at one point that Sharon is in a standing off triangle with Carly and George St. Pierre. And George St. Pierre, it seems like this is the end of his story. Oh, we had so little of George St. Pierre, but it was precious. And George St. Pierre takes a shot to the gut or to the heart or wherever he was shot by Sharon after she reveals herself that she is indeed the power broker, which I think is something that we talked about potentially a few episodes ago.
Which also makes not her being the power broker, but the dynamic of this one particular scene where there's the standoff between the three characters makes zero sense.
Yeah.
If she was going to kill him, she could have just told him, yeah, okay, I'll quadruple your pay. He shoots her, he shoots Carly, then she shoots George St. Pierre. Instead, she's like, it's worth taking a bullet for this. You don't blackmail me. Pa! And then gets shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing, man. She's a power broker. She's got to show her power. Okay. Issues.
They all died anyway. Nobody knows about that transaction between them. The words exchanged.
If you're a power broker, you are a power broker behind closed doors as well.
Once a power broker, always a power broker.
So my issue with Sharon being the power broker is that, okay, let's backtrack. When they are in the shipping waste container yard, she calls and tells everyone that there's a bounty on Sam and Bucky, and then when they all come, she by herself kills all of them outside with nobody watching. Yep. So that happened. Also, one of her biggest assets, the scientist, she led everyone right to him, knowing that Zemo wanted him dead, So does it work for you guys? Does it play for you that Sharon was the power broker the whole time?
I mean, kind of is what it is. I mean, yeah, you're right, Michael. Like, certain plays don't make sense. I remember, like, her first shady business was, after that whole thing at the shipping yard, getting into that fancy car saying, hey, we got some new players in the game, got some new problems or something like that. And it just seems she always has an agenda. I think that's the mysteriousness behind the power broker. Always something in play.
It's not immediately apparent what her goals are. They kind of spin the power broker off to be a villain, but then if you actually think about how Sharon interacts with the heroes and how she accomplishes a mission, yes, it does get her pardoned. And then there's that brief scene where she's calling somebody on the phone and talking about, trading international secrets. But ultimately, this is Sharon Carter. She's been a hero for the past 10 years. I imagine that the power broker character is going to be a little more gray area than we think. I don't think she's a straight up villain. I think that there's going to be some sort of ideal that she has about how the reason why she's trading secrets is because she believes in more of a balance of power across multiple powerful entities rather than one single government that's all powerful, or it's going to do some sort of storyline based on that. I don't see her being a villain for our heroes. To be honest, I see her being more of a fringe faction that the characters turn to when they need help, but knowing that there may be a cost to what they pay, kind of like a Boba Fett character or something along those lines,
or like the Collector,
or the Collector, exactly. Someone who has their own interests, but is not necessarily a villain to the heroes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so we do see that some of the other predictions that I think this one Mitch made in the last episode did come true. Mitch suggested that they weren't going to end the season with 20 superhumans running around. They were going to find a way to kill all of them, probably kill all of them is what you thought. And indeed they did. And we have Zemo, it seems, to thank for that. Zemo
and Sharon.
And Sharon. Was it Sharon? Was that the relationship?
Well, she killed Carly.
Oh, well.
So she killed one of the 20
gotcha.
superheroes.
Yes. And then the group of them, after they were arrested, it seems like Zemo. It was really funny because right after that they went to this bald guy, and I'm like, who the heck is that?
Yeah, like, who's that?
I'm like, are they introducing a brand new character that apparently was integral to the death of the? And then he was on the phone with Zemo. I'm like, oh, okay.
It was Zemo's butler guy. Yeah,
gotcha.
His office. Gotcha. But it was funny with that shot though. Remember the Wakandians, or however you say it, they took Zemo, but then he ends up in the Shield or super prison.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to bring that up too. The way that I perceived the demands of the Wakandans was not, hey, we want you to immediately turn him over so we can put him right back in prison. It was very much, oh, he's out and he's going to pay for the crimes against our king in our laws. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
But it would seem they meant, no, he belongs in prison. We're putting him back in prison, which, okay. Yeah. But for some reason, that went by me. I didn't foresee that happening.
So they dropped him off, back at the German prison? The German Institute?
Put him on the Raft, which is the same.
That's what it's called.
It's the prison that was designed to hold the Avengers during Civil War. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was out on a boat in the middle of nowhere.
The Raft.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The floating prison.
Yeah. That's what that was. So where Sam and Paul Rudd and all of them were being held.
Yeah, same spot.
Gotcha. But yeah, so kudos on Mitch for calling that all the superheroes were going to die by the end of it.
Thank you. I will also take credit for one more prediction.
Go ahead.
Which is this series followed the tried and true Marvel 101 storyline of here's the hero and the villain is some sort of evil version of the hero. So what was this about? Super Soldier Serum. What was Captain America 1 about? Super Soldier Serum. What was Captain America 2 about? Super Soldier Serum. What was Captain America 3? Well, it was an Avengers movie. But aside from that, it's the same tried and true storyline of Marvel's here's the hero. The villain's kind of just a different version of the hero. Yeah. And you know what's funny? I still enjoyed it. This is like the 24th of these that we've seen now. Yeah. We just got WandaVision, which, spoilers, same thing. And there we go.
Yeah. You know what's really funny? You drop anyone from Asgard in this movie, and it completely disrupts the entire dynamic. If you turn anyone from Asgard as the villain, completely disrupts all the dynamics and all the everything about it.
During this whole thing, I bet Doctor Strange too is just kicking back, watching the show. How's this gonna play out?
Oh yeah. And then anybody. Where's even Wanda and
Black Panther.
Well, Black Panther.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately wasn't there. But what's that?
According to the universe, where is he?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's a good point. Where was Black Panther in this? They never really addressed that at all in this movie.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a real hurdle with that one because it becomes a situation where the easy thing to do is to just kill the character off camera, but they want to do it in a way that honors the actor, of course.
Definitely.
They kind of did that with the wow, I'm the one making all the Star Wars references, even though Cole's the super fan. But they kind of did that with the most recent Star Wars too. But they're not sitting, to my knowledge, on a bunch of footage of Chadwick Boseman. So ultimately, whatever they do, they're going to have to do it off camera. There's going to be some sort of, it opens with a funeral scene, or maybe not. Maybe they kind of just remove him from the story, have him be the off-screen king who's ruling, and he assigns the Black Panther role to a new character or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, remember what Disney has is that fancy CGI, whatever you want to call it, reanimation.
Yeah, which they used in Rogue One to great effect. But I don't know. This is so soon. This was such a tragic loss. I think that they're going to be hesitant just to recreate him digitally. I feel like...
Yeah, well, they're going to have to. I mean...
Yeah, but I feel like the more respectful path for them to pursue is to give his character some sort of fitting end.
Yeah.
Well, they did that right with Paul Walker in Need for Speed. And there was a lot of mixed reactions as far as that goes. Does that honor the actor? Does that not honor the actor? I mean, I think they had his brother come in and then he stood in for him, and then they digitally changed the face to make it look more like him. Yeah, that's a good question. It'll be interesting to see how Disney kind of handles that situation.
And I mean, I'm not sure what they're going to do with it, but ultimately, there's always the option of recasting. And other series have done that before.
This series did that. They put in Don Cheadle after the first very successful Iron Man movie.
Yes. But I mean after a character's death. So like The Crow, for example, which is an older kind of horror action series. Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, died during the filming of that, and they recast him. And, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what is the more respectful route, because if you want to take the cultural importance of the character of Black Panther, then you should probably recast. But if you want to pay homage and honor to the actor, then you should probably kill off the character.
Yeah. Good question. Tough questions. I'm glad I'm not sitting at the head of Mickey Mouse Studios.
Yeah, for sure.
What show are we talking about again? got off on a little bit of...
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, so bringing it back to, thank you for that, Cole. We have, so the rest of the episode was basically just redemption, or not really redemption, but resolution storylines that were kind of put out there. So the first one we had was Isaiah. Isaiah gets a nice little... resolution storyline at the end. He gets a plaque and a statue dedicated to him in his prime in the Captain America kind of museum. I assume at the Smithsonian. Is that where all that stuff takes place?
Wherever it is.
Wherever it is.
I felt that it was a pretty good way to end this. They didn't, obviously the history with Isaiah's character and the development of the super soldier serum and the test subjects for the early super soldier serum brings a huge negative light to the character of Captain America. I thought that doing this sort of reveal where Isaiah would find out that his story will be told when looking at the history of Captain America now was a good way to do it without detracting too much from the main story coming to a conclusion at the end. It didn't detract too much. It did give a resolution to that secondary storyline, and there was really it felt authentic to Sam taking the role of Captain America, and one of the first things doing
would be
acknowledging the true history of Captain America.
And righting that major wrong there.
Yeah,
sure. Another redemption story, another resolution storyline. Well, if you want to call it a resolution, I don't really think that it's that much of a resolution. But is Bucky going back to Yuri and telling him that he was the one that killed his son? And right as we were about to get the interesting reaction, it cut away and went to a different scene, and we missed that entire reaction scene. They literally just cut it out. It didn't happen. And then
did he try to kill Bucky? We don't know.
What was the reaction there? We have no idea. And then Bucky walks by the window and is like, oh yeah, he's gonna be all right just because he's sitting at the restaurant that they usually go to. I'm like, I feel like there were missing scenes that we completely missed because none of this really, like, you missed all the interesting parts. You skipped over it all.
I actually differ on this only because I like that they made this more about Bucky's redemption and less about focusing on the pain of the Winter Soldier. Because really, the whole purpose of his storyline, his personal storyline through this show, is can he move past being the assassin, the Winter Soldier, and into the role of a hero, which he does. And him righting his wrongs, which he was doing before, it's not the same as him apologizing for his wrongs, which he does at the end. Yori, I mean, I think we can all infer what happened. He was heartbroken. The fact that Bucky's not there with him at the restaurant at the end kind of shows that relationship between them's done. But it was the right thing to do by him acknowledging the truth and revealing the truth, because Yori is able to get some closure and moves on. He's not in his house depressed. He's drinking at a bar depressed, like a man. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I think Bucky was probably by far the least interesting character of the series.
I agree.
He had a very, very flat story arc, if you wanted to call it a story arc at all. At the beginning of the series, he was kind of forced into being very depressed or very, had issues with being the Winter Soldier. And by the end of it, he apologized. I mean, you're right. He went at the beginning of the series, he went from trying to right his wrongs to the end of the series to apologizing his wrongs. Is that really a story arc for a main character over the course of a 7-episode season? That's literally 6-episode season. That's literally the only story arc that he had as far as personal development and growth and whatnot goes.
Yeah, not that big, but still, that being said, I would say Bucky is probably my favorite character in this series. Just because not just because, but what he did for the series is he brought that kind of Steve Rogers mindset to the series in that he's very set in his ways and kind of not acting as a wild card, but you know how Bucky's going to feel about certain things, and he's going to do things his way, just like Steve Rogers did things his way, right? And that very hard set
kind of I'm
getting this guy with or without you.
A little bit of stability while Falcon kind of was wavering, trying to figure out his role there. Sure, maybe offsets Falcon a little bit.
I agree that I wanted more development for Bucky. He starts out as the Winter Soldier, kind of. Well, I mean, he says he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. He doesn't go by any name other than Bucky. He doesn't get any new super identity. His character storyline only progresses so far as he's depressed at the beginning, which, let's remember, he's depressed on every movie and every movie before this. I mean, there's him breaking out of being brainwashed and then him being very depressed about it, which makes sense. I mean, that's true to the character. You find out that you're, 90 years into the future or 70 years in the future, however long it is, everybody you know and care about has died, and you've been a killer for the better part of a century now, killing innocent people. Of course, he's going to be very depressed about that. Ultimately, at the end of this episode, the end of this series, we see that, okay, he's taken large steps to move past the damage that he's done to himself mentally in his psyche by being the Winter Soldier. He's actually genuinely cheery and happy at the end. He's interacting with people. He's playing with kids. He's developing personal relationships. He lost Steve, but he found a good friend in Sam, and they are, I mean, let's be honest, they are good friends at the end. They're not any longer just, tumultuous partners or reluctant partners or anything like that.
Future brother-in-laws.
I do like that development, but if we consider that this was 6 hours of film, the equivalent of 3 movies, I would have wanted more. I agree, from Bucky. I do love the character, just like Cole said, but it's because I love the character that I wanted more from him or for him from this series.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. And then we pretty much wrap up we wrap up with a fun scene with Bucky and Sam and Sarah, and everybody's out at the dock. Apparently, he got money now. Now that he's Captain America, he's getting money. Apparently now he's getting paid because it seems like the boat has been saved. So you don't get paid if you're a sidekick, if you're Falcon, but you get paid if you're Winter Soldier, I guess, and you get immediate pay apparently.
I think that the boat was saved when the community came together. They're just throwing like a big fish fry, cook around. They got crawfish and stuff.
I really hope. If Falcon's going to be Captain America now, I really hope he goes to his HR person and talks about his salary. Because I feel like he deserves a big promotion salary. I feel like he deserves an increase in pay.
Yeah, he for sure needs a raise.
Maybe from like $30 to $40, apparently, in this world.
So, yeah, that was a fun scene at the end. You get to see kind of the resolutions. I'm still hoping that Bucky and Sam's sister get something going in the future.
I really, oh man, I wanted that to play out so bad.
Yeah, that was just fun.
It was really cool though. Did you guys see Bucky holding his arm out and all the kids were like jumping on it and stuff? That was super funny.
That was very funny, yes. And then there was one more scene at the end too, which is John Walker being announced as the U.S. agent with his black suit, and we get to see a little, kind of the conclusion of his redemption. It's him, and I think that's his wife, and he's psyched. He's like, I'm back.
Yeah, he's stoked about it. Yeah.
And we do get a very small change to his costume. Yeah, it's virtually the same as the Captain America suit. It's black instead of blue.
I couldn't even tell the difference. It could have been my color on the TV. I don't know, but it didn't look any different to me. I barely saw the black. The only reason I knew it was black because he said, well, it's black.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the only reason I knew it was black.
And no shield, but still has the pistol on his side, which should lead us to believe, okay, this is going to be more in tune with the training he already has as a soldier. He's going to be deploying guns. He's going to be on secret missions. I look forward to seeing more of him because I did like that character for this series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ended well. I was a little surprised at how they just like all teamed up with like no talk or anything and fighting Carly and the bad guys. It's like they're not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna. They didn't want to talk about his falling out or anything. I guess they didn't have time, but
they're over it, man. They're over it. We're already been here for 6 hours. Let's go. That's what they're thinking.
Yep.
All right, and then in the end scene, we do see Sharon getting pardoned, and then immediately turning around and going me, and calling her whoever's contact she was back in Madripoor, that she is now going to be dealing in government information and not necessarily secret serum information. So that's going to be a story thread moving forward, I would imagine.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
But yeah, and that was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. That was
U.S. beat Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
And then it got changed right at the very end. Right. Captain America. And I'm going to have to retroactively change all of our titles now. But yeah, so we have 10 minutes left. What do you guys think of the episode? Do you have any other questions that you think need resolution or things of that nature?
Well, let me just touch on like Sam's speech at the end. To me, yes, it set the right tone for the new Captain America, and but overall, it came off as corny to me. I mean. Yes, Captain America's supposed to be corny, and it was good-hearted, good message and everything, but having all those senators there with news cameras and everything, giving this whole speech seemed just a little too cheesy for me. I don't know if you guys thought.
I liked it. I mean, I think the only parts to me that came off as kind of the cheesiness, corniness that you would assume or that you would, expect from this was, that the cameras turn on him and it's broadcast across the world, all of that. But realistically, I mean, even the tone in which he talked is how most of us wish we could talk to the lawmakers that are setting policy that, frankly, are distant from the strife of the common day man and woman. He very much is like, guys, what are we doing? I mean, the one senator says to him, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to carry forth with what we were planning, the thing that we're fighting against," and he doesn't beat around the bush. He just breaks it down, full stop. Guys, stop. What we're doing is wrong. These are people too that need to be cared for. He gives the whole speech. He focuses on what he already expressed to be his political belief earlier, but he does so in a very rational way, in a very common sense, everyday man type of way that breaks it down and makes it so obvious. It's likable. It's not adversarial in how he talks to them. He doesn't threaten them with anything. He kind of just makes the plea of the people of, hey,
sure,
I don't know. I think he even says, I don't know what the solution is. That's your guys' job, but we got to figure it out. And, it reaches them. And that, yeah, maybe a little cheesy, but I think right now, especially in these times of like great political divide, having an image or having imagery like this is almost hopeful. Like, oh, can you imagine a world where the people in charge actually have the well-being of the public in mind, and then when that that message gets sent to them, they act on it instead of going, nah, nonsense,
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool.
So I actually liked the speech at the end that Captain America gave. I thought it was really good because it was very, Mitch, you're right, it was very representative of the people. Like, it's something that the people would want to say to a politician, right? Basically, the politicians are making all these deals and doing all this stuff closed doors. There's not really any transparency between it. And then you have the people being like, what's going on? Okay, how about you, we need to do something different, blah, blah, blah. But not to defend the GRC people, but I think this is the way it works in the real world, because I think you have Captain America kind of voicing the concerns of the people, and then you have whoever that guy was, kind of illuminating as to what the problem is. And the main counsel, the main senator guy at one point goes, okay, this is a lot of complicated stuff. There's a lot of logistics. What would you like us to do? And then Captain America's response was, do better.
Yep.
And then that was his response. And and the whole speech that he gave, made it to that point. Something has to be done. They don't know necessarily what to do, but they have to do something. So they're doing all the stuff, and they're trying to get the logistics through and everything. And then what's your suggestion, Captain America? Do better. I'm like, that's not very helpful. Like, that's like, hey mom, I have to choose between a blue and a red car, and her answer is, oh, pick whichever one you think is better. Okay, that doesn't help me at all. I don't like that. So it's that kind of response, and I think Captain America did a good job of voicing the concerns of the people, and hopefully, the end result of that type of thing is just more transparency as to why decisions are being made and things like that. That way, people can understand it if they want to understand it.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that Captain America has always been a character that stands up for the little man, and in this one particular series, the little man are the people that are being represented by the Flag Smashers. It's just that the Flag Smashers are representing them in a way that's dangerous and that is costing innocent lives. And Captain America ultimately at the end finds a happy balance in making the case for the Flag Smashers, or at least for the people that the Flag Smashers represented, in a way that was much less dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, so go ahead, Cole.
Oh, I was just going to add to that. Yeah, like in the speech, he even said, like, thousands of people support what these people were doing, Yeah,
exactly. That was the point I was going to make. That was something I really liked that Captain America said, was he said, hey, we're so worried about what to do with all these protesters and refugees and everything like that, but we're not really taking a minute to think why all these people are willing to die for the cause. Like, what do they see? We're not taking a minute to understand their side of it. And I actually really liked that.
Me too. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was a good message.
It was very, very relevant to our world today.
Yeah, true.
With everything going on.
Yeah,
For sure.
and I think just more transparency in decisions. I think the difference between Steve Rogers slash Sam as Captain America and John Walker as Captain America. Sam was fighting for the moral point. You know, we have to be good to people, and we have to find a way to make that work so that the end result is generally good. Whereas John Walker, as we've kind of discussed before, would say, okay, here's a situation. This is the best thing that I can find. If the end result isn't, you know, a general good, then, you know, we tried. You know,
Yeah.
but
he's a soldier.
Sam is
Yeah.
more exactly. Sam is more stoic. Sam is more principled. Sam, the most important thing to Sam is moral, right? So, and I think that's what makes a good Captain America, is that you're putting the moral good first and not necessarily the logistics. Have the moral good, find a way to get there. You know.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here, here.
Letter of the law versus spirit of the law. Sam is spirit of the law. John Walker's letter of the law.
Exactly. So all in all, yeah. So why don't we go ahead and go through what did we think of the series as a whole? Cole.
I'll give it a solid C, just
Yeah?
because you know, just, I don't know, like it was maybe a C plus. I'll give it that. Just because it was exciting to see the Marvel Universe go forward, see who the next Captain America is, and our characters going forward in the whole. But I don't know. I guess I'm too used to watching 16 episode series of shows, and so like it went by a little too fast. With like, oh man, they're having this big fight scene already, man. Like that was like every episode, you know. It's like just moving forward on these big questions and just. But, you know, I kind of like that too. But just as far as storytelling goes, just C+.
Okay. All right. How about you, Mitch?
I think I mostly agree with Cole. If we go based on the story, probably a C plus. You know, I'm really torn between the 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 type scale right there for the story. I think it was written well with 6 hours of film. Remember, it's the equivalent of 3 movies, and that's how they kind of see these shows. They see them as movies. They don't really see them as 22 episode, you know, CW shows or anything like that. I think that what they accomplished in the sound transition of Falcon into Captain America was nice, but I would have liked to see more. I already mentioned that I would have liked to see something for Bucky, some sort of new progression in his character beyond what we saw. Overall, though, the thing that's going to bring it up for me above Cole is that this was big budget. The action was big budget. It felt like we were watching a Marvel movie. This final episode had phenomenal action in it, special effects, everything. So I think I'd elevate above a C plus to about a B minus, and I'm happy with it there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat as you guys. Probably the C plus range, if that, maybe C. They focused on things that I wouldn't have focused on, and they didn't focus on things that I would have focused on. Like we talked about in the last episode, I would have liked to feel more about John Walker and see his storyline and kind of dig into his past a little bit and his progression. That way I felt more about his ups and downs. Carly, again, as the main villain, who ends up dying at the end and is killed because of her. I think she was a great character. I just wouldn't have put her in the villain role. I would have put her in the supporting villain role that betrays the villain. You know, I think that would have been a good role for her.
Yeah,
character.
to be honest, when it comes to assessment of villains, she's at the bottom of the list for me. If we're talking about MCU villains, I think the only ones worse than her are the Dark Elves from Thor 2 and maybe the Witch from WandaVision. But that's about it.
Yeah. Predictions. First, I kind of want to go over predictions that we all made that came true, and predictions that we thought were going to happen that did not come happen. Did anything surprise you in this series? For me, for example, I kind of had a strong inkling and a feeling that by the end of the series, Sam was going to be Captain America. I thought that it was going to be, the show was mostly going to be a kind of ride along how he progressed to become Captain America. And that didn't really happen till the end. But I'm going to give myself a point on that one because I called that guy coming. Cole, I know you called Zemo as Power Broker.
Yeah, I was wrong about Zemo being Power Broker. Just because he had a bunch of money all of a sudden. I mean, I was like, what was up with that? Must be Power Broker. So, yeah, I was... but, yeah, by this last episode, I was like, oh, it's Cheryl or Sharon, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Sharon. So that made sense at the end. And, yes, just like you, Michael, I was like, yeah, this is just a ride seeing how Sam is going to become Captain America. Because, yeah, there's no way around it.
Yeah. Mitch, how about you? Any predictions or mispredictions?
I mean, if we look from episode 1, I kind of originally predicted that this show would give a sort of twist and Falcon would not become Captain America. I think I told you guys too. I kind of thought that they'd make Bucky Captain America just because Falcon already had a pretty cool identity in Falcon, and Bucky has nothing other than the guy in the leather coat. And they were both Captain America, of course, in the comics. But no, for my predictions, really, it's just the fact that they followed the tried and true Marvel storyline, and that
that was a solid prediction you had.
Died. Those were my predictions that came true. As far as things I got wrong, I thought they were going to leave the Power Broker's identity somewhat
mysterious,
unknown at the end. I kind of thought it would end with a mystery. We don't know who it is, because ultimately the Power Broker didn't need to play a large role in this show.
No.
Just needed to play a role when they tracked down the super soldier serum. After they killed the scientist, they didn't need to mention him again.
No.
In fact, them mentioning that Sharon was a Power Broker is cool, but doesn't really change anything.
Cool.
Yeah,
that was a question that was answered that at this point I didn't really have anymore.
Yeah, I didn't care who the Power Broker was anymore going into this final episode. I wasn't sitting here like, but who's the Power Broker, you know? And I don't have a problem that they answered it, but I just didn't think they would. So I'm definitely wrong on that one.
Cool. All right. Well, any final thoughts or anything you guys want to discuss before we wrap this series up?
I was expecting a Star Destroyer to show up at some point, but that never happened.
I wanted Thor to come down and just lay waste to all the super soldiers.
The only thing I would like to wrap up is going to be for the audience, which is we are going to continue doing these. I know that Loki premieres on June 11th, I believe, which is coming up in just over a month and a half. Meanwhile, we'll make an announcement very shortly on what the next thing we will be reviewing will be. Something to tide us over until Loki in June. But this Friday, I'm going to be doing the final reaction video to the season finale of episode 1 of Invincible. If you've not checked those out, please tune over, watch the show, check out our reactions. Even though this was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it, I still stand that Invincible is the best thing on TV right now.
There you go. And I will probably start watching that as well. I have a lot of work to do, and so I try to get these things in whenever I can. I should have said this at the beginning of the episode because I doubt a lot of people made it to this point, but please comment down below. Let us know what you want. I don't think anybody's going to be watching at this point, but please prove me wrong. Comment down below. Let us know what you want to do. Even just say hi. Just say hi to us. Let us know that people are out there watching this, because we are an hour into this. We've done it every single week for the past 2 months, and our views, are on 2 hands. Pretty much. But yeah, so please subscribe, comment us down below. We have a podcast, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook that we use intermittently. Yeah, so really appreciate you guys watching. I want to be super self-serving and give us a round of applause real quick for sticking to this. We all are very busy people in our normal lives. And we have done this every week for the past 6 weeks, and we have recorded and we have gotten it up the night that we record. Now we do not record until like almost a week after the episode comes out, just because that happens to be the time that we can all record. But this is a ton of fun for us. We really enjoy doing it. We're going to keep doing it whether people are watching or not. So you might as well watch, right? That's Cole, you want to say anything?
Yeah. Just super shout out to Mitch and Michael there, our engineers. I do absolutely nothing but kind of sit back and talk a little bit. These guys are recording, editing, all that jazz. So thank you for including me.
Very welcome. I'm excited to see what our next series is going to be that we're going to be reviewing. Or maybe we're not even going to do a series. Maybe we'll just talk about stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, until our next episode, live long and may the force be with you. Have a good
Later, guys.
Later.
Later.